The young man entered the city for the first time. He did not expect to immediately see a beautiful CEO collapsed on the ground. Without hesitation, he stepped forward and began treating her. He gathered his spiritual energy and slowly infused it into her body. In the blink of an eye, the CEO regained consciousness. It turned out the young man was the direct disciple of the 9 mystic divine doctor, because his master was old and nearing the end of his life. Before dying, he handed the young man a marriage contract and told him to travel to the Xie family to fulfill a marriage that had been arranged long ago. But since he had never left the mountain before, it took him 3 days and 3 nights to reach the city. Along the way, he saw a tractor and thought it was a horse carriage. He excitedly waved his hand hoping to catch a ride, but the driver ignored him after seeing his strange outfit. The young man wondered if getting a ride was really that hard. At that moment, a luxury car sped past and nearly knocked him over. The woman in the car jumped out angrily and scolded him, asking why he was standing in the middle of the road, saying anyone would think he was trying to scam them. But the young man only smiled and politely asked the 2 women to give him a ride. Seeing that he had been walking the whole way, the CEO felt sympathetic, so she kindly agreed to take him along. But the young man had never seen a car before. The moment he got in, he opened the front trunk and climbed inside. When they arrived, he crawled back out of the trunk. The CEO originally thought he came to the city to find work, but after asking around, she learned he had come down the mountain to honor a marriage contract. She became curious and asked which girl was so lucky. The young man said it was the eldest daughter of the Xie family. The 2 sisters were instantly shocked. The younger sister mocked that the Xie heiress could never fall for a country bumpkin like him. As soon as she finished speaking, the CEO suddenly clutched her chest. Her face turned pale and she collapsed on the spot. The young man immediately saw it was a sign of sudden cardiac death, so he rushed forward to save her. But the younger sister thought he had ulterior motives. The young man explained that since the illness was in the heart, it had to be treated by clearing the meridians, and said he was not the kind of person to take advantage of others. Seeing her sister in critical condition, she had no choice but to let him try. The young man immediately performed the long-lost ghost gate 13 needles. After a short while, he stood up and said she would be fine for now. Then he turned and headed toward the Xie family. Not long after, the CEO woke up. When she learned the young man had saved her, she was deeply shaken. She realized that if he could cure her, he could also cure her father. But the younger sister said that even the top doctors in the country were helpless, and there was no way a rural doctor like him could succeed. The older sister believed he could definitely save their father. Since he was going to the Xie family to fulfill the marriage contract, they decided to go to the Xie family to find him. At the same time, the young man arrived at the Xie family following the address on the contract. He discovered that the Xie heiress was already engaged to someone else. She tore up the marriage contract on the spot, saying she already had someone she loved and would never acknowledge the engagement. Right after she said that, the CEO suddenly appeared at the banquet. The guests were instantly thrown into an uproar. The heiress could not believe that her own wedding was overshadowed by another woman. She felt extremely displeased. Soon the CEO walked up to the young man and said she needed his help with something. After that, the young man followed her to the hospital. When the director heard that he was going to treat a patient, he showed nothing but disdain, saying even the famous Dr. Su was powerless, and there was no way a young nobody like him could cure it. But in the next moment, the young man simply placed a hand on the patient's wrist and accurately diagnosed the condition. He said the patient had gone to a remote mountain area 2